So there.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
Why do you keep saying let us know your thoughts?
Let me know your thoughts to me is a nice lead-in for So there. So there.
Welcome to episode 39 of So There. I am Gary Doyle.
And I'm Tom Karamitis.
How you doing, Tom?
Gary Doyle is sick. He's very sick.
Don't be scared, everybody. I don't think I have the COVID. But I, yes, have a nasty cold. I've had one for about 10 days. So I will, like David St. Hubbins, I'm a professional. I will rise above. That was Nigel Tufnell. I will rise above. I'm a professional. No, it's fine. It's fine.
You also have kind of a nice, sexy new timbre, or is it timbre, to your voice. You're kind of down in the mezzo-baritone range right now.
I think it's timbre, actually. It's neither.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
right.
timbre.
All right. So what does timbre mean other than a wood thing, other than wood?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
Are you sure you're up to this?
Yeah.
You're just really kind of struggling a little bit. I see you on the little video, and, you know. I might want to mention this. Doing a pod today was your idea, Easter Sunday, so.
If our listeners can put up with a little bit of coffee and a little bit of, sultry, sexy Gary Doyle voice, then, if you can do that, I can too, our loyal listeners. Tom, we're doing something special next episode, aren't we?
Next 2 episodes, actually, yeah.
Whoa, you want to tease that out?
Well, let's tease it to the end of this episode, because we have a couple of very special episodes coming up, and we'll talk about that more towards the end of this episode. This way, we'll force people to muddle through 20 minutes of gibberish to get to that. It's called a tease.
So I'll kick things off, Tom. Now is a time of year called March Madness, and everybody watches the college games on TV, and I've been doing the same. And there's a lot of ads on the games, and as my son said, they seem to repeat the same 8 or 10 ads over and over and over again. Clearly, certain sponsors, paid for premium, ownership rights, sponsorship rights, and you just see these ads over and over again. So I'd like to bounce a few off you, see what you think. Have a little lightning round here. I'm sure you've seen most of these ads. If you haven't, I can move on. But a quick little lightning round. All right, I'm going to give my opinion, then I want to hear yours. Okay, first off, AT&T, Lily, the AT&T spokesperson, the woman who is in the store and people come in and do things and they talk about the phones. And I think these are quite good. I think they're charming. Are they groundbreaking creative? No. But they're well written, expertly acted, well directed. Lily herself is charming. She has a lot of charm. I just appreciate the simple professionalism of the Lily ads. Like I said, are they going to reinvent advertising? No, but I respect how solid and good they are.
I would say at this point for me, the Lily backstory is much more interesting than the Lily ads. I didn't know she actually directed those commercials until you pointed that out to me last week. I think they're pleasant. She's a great spokesperson. She's thoroughly likable. She's a decent actress. But yeah, it's a bit of a shoulder shrug to me. I mean, I don't. If I didn't know the backstory, I don't think I would really be that compelled. So I'm not quite as bullish on them as you are.
Fine, you don't like them as much as me. Okay, next, there's an Apple ad with a woman who drops her phone. She drops it and she kind of balances it, and it's sort of she's trying to catch it, and it's all through the air, and she's just bumbling around trying to catch it before it drops, and there's a piece of music going boom, and so A good enough ad, but then in the end of the ad, the phone, she's walking down a city street, but for some reason at the end of the ad, the phone drops in sand. And the point they make is an unbreakable screen. And it's so baffling to me. Why do they have it drop in the sand when you're making the point that it's an unbreakable screen? Wouldn't it land on the concrete? I mean, the rest of the ad is on a typical city sidewalk. You don't even see any sand, but it lands on sand. And I just wonder, I looked at that and I wondered if the lawyers got involved. Like they said, no, you really can't have it landing on concrete because it could theoretically break. It needs to land on a softer surface. And if they kind of reshot it, landing in sand. But I found it baffling. What do you think of that, Tom?
Totally agree with you. In fact, I noticed the same thing and came to a very similar conclusion. And my guess, and maybe somebody who works on Apple can contact us, but my guess is what happened was this insight about that it will not actually survive a fall to concrete came to light after the commercial was shot, and they had to scramble. And it doesn't land on a beach. It's not that soft, but you're right. It's kind of like a dirt road kind of environment. And
like a dirt planter, a tree planter or something.
Something, yeah. I just remember coming away with, wow, that was a bizarre cheat. You're right. She's obviously in the city. They do this elaborate slow motion dance where she's trying to catch it before it hits the ground. And then it's like, really? Everyone's expecting that, oh, wow, the phone can survive landing on a concrete sidewalk. And wow, it was a huge disconnect for me as well.
Right. All right, moving on to the tax preparation category. Now, April 15th is coming up fast, so the tax preparer companies are running ads. There's H&R Block, which is like a song and dance ad where they're singing a song, and I think it's trying to be funny, but it isn't. It doesn't quite land. And then TurboTax has a thing that's all about free. There's people working out in the gym, and the workout instructor is going, and free, and free, and free. And it's all they say is free, and it's oddly funny. Maybe it's because I know Wyden and Kennedy does it, so I'm predisposed to like it, but it's oddly funny, so I approve of the TurboTax ads.
I'm going to have to give an asterisk on H&R Block because there's one thing that distracts me in that ad, and there's a woman who tends to be in the foreground of a lot of those choreography shots. She looks like somebody at Leo Burnett, and I keep studying her because she looks like somebody at Leo Burnett. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of cute. It's kind of a catchy musical number they did, and they went to a lot of trouble with the choreography. It feels like a bit out of left field thematically. The TurboTax free, I find is just kind of grates on me a little bit. I'm not as much of a fan of that one.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. There's just something kind of funny about it. Okay, not going to dwell on these too long. Buick self-parking ads where the car parks itself, and the woman, for some reason, when the man self-parks the ad, she goes to him, "That's so you." And I don't understand what part about it is so him. But anyway, I find that baffling. What do you think of that, Tom?
Have not seen that one.
Okay, next, a Pizza Hut ads with Craig Robinson. Again, one of these ads that I have no idea what's going on, except it's Craig Robinson and it's about Pizza Hut.
I need more information. What does he do in the spot?
Never mind. All right, couple more examples, and we'll move on. Geico with Dikembe Mutombo. So, oddly enough, there's a couple ads on March Madness with tall athletes, African-American athletes, blocking things. David Robinson comes in and swats away something, and this Dikembe Mutombo ad is he swats away things, and like all Geico ads, it's pretty good. Geico is just they make it look easy. I like the ad, but one thing bothers me about it. After every time he swats the thing away, he wags his finger, which is his maneuver that he's famous for in the NBA. But then after every time he does that, he goes, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." So he does it, swats another one, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." And he does it about 7 or 8 times. And he didn't do that in the NBA. He just swatted things away and wagged his finger. And I'm guessing, having been in so many of these situations in ad agencies, I'm guessing they said, we got to make him likable. You know, he can't just be a guy that's just swatting things out of the air and being mean and wagging his finger. We got to make him likable. So let's make him do this ho ho ho, this big ho 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 after each one. And I find it disconcerting, and it bothers me that they felt they had to do that. You know, and it's in literally every one. You know, this big fake laugh.
Yeah, a couple things about that. My sense with the laugh is somebody discovered he had a funny laugh when they were talking to him or getting ready to do the commercials that became a bigger and bigger part of the execution. But to me, the even more puzzling thing is that commercial's at least 5 years old. That campaign is 5 years old. Those two guys with the guitars and why they seem to, and maybe they just resurrected it for March Madness, but it just seemed kind of out of left field. I never liked that campaign. I never understood those two guys at the end with the guitars. They weren't funny. They just basically gave you a sum up line at the end, and shoulder shrug here.
It's not my favorite Geico campaign, but I was more kind of noting the strange laugh after each one.
Apparently, Geico doesn't think they have quite enough campaigns out there, so they needed to resurrect one from 5 years ago.
Lastly, in the ads, living in the voluminous Gary Doyle, I don't quite understand what they're trying to say file, which is a growing advertising file I keep. The Capital One ads with Spike Lee, Charles Barkley, and who's the other guy? Anyway, I never have any idea what they're doing or what they're trying to say or what it has to do with the card. I know it's three guys on a road trip and it's kind of fun. And, they're hanging out and they're talking. And then at the end, I'm like, what does that have to do with Capital One? And what are they trying to say? So and they've been doing these for 10 years and I still you'd think it would sink in, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't seen those ads. I thought when you were going to say Capital One, you were going to think of the campaign they're running with what's his name? Who's the actor who's been doing it for years now?
Oh, that's the other guy in the ad, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
he's the
who's always
guy.
angry. Yeah, he's always angry, and that always intimidates me into kind of maybe I need to take out a Capital One account.
Maybe they should. Go ahead.
No, it's like, doesn't Capital One, don't they also run those spots where there's some kind of weird hybrid bank coffee shop environment that they say this is the new banking experience or something you're supposed to come to, and they show a bunch of people on sofas drinking coffee and looking at their computer screens? Have you seen those? What is that?
It's a guy with a beard, and he will heretofore be known as the Capital One guy, right? Because he's become the Capital One guy. And he goes, this is banking reimagined. This is Capital One. And then he talks about things. But it's completely innocuous. He's just a confident, smiling white guy with a beard who's like, yes, Capital One cafes, you can learn about your money and have a good cup of coffee. I don't know. It's one of those campaigns that really is through sheer media tonnage. It just becomes a thing. It's really not any kind of good idea. It just becomes a thing because they just bludgeon you with impressions.
I like that sheer media tonnage. It's like you think of a freighter in the Suez Canal, getting stuck. That's sheer media tonnage.
Anyway, Tom, that's my March Madness commercial roundup. So there.
I like I like that. I like that kind of rapid fire thing. Gary Doyle's quick impressions. I'm going to do something that's kind of similar. I'm going to resurrect a bit that you hate, and you only hate it because I thought of it, called You're Welcome. And this is where I do a favor for an advertiser out there, give them an idea free of charge, and they can do with it what they will. But the first gatekeeper is always Gary Doyle. He can let me know if he thinks it's worth passing on. One of them was, I kind of thought about how Oprah Winfrey has become kind of the spokesperson for Weight Watchers, and I thought, what about
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think she bought like 80,000 shares of Weight Watchers.
Really?
She may be a majority stockholder at this point, but she's now also the spokesperson for Weight Watchers. But all of this stuff seems to be targeted as it historically has been, at women. And I thought, why not target some of Weight Watchers stuff towards kind of fat middle-aged guys? And you can do that by resurrecting the old Hollies classic and repurpose it to say, he ain't heavy, he's on Weight Watchers. You like that? Hey, it's found money for the Hollies. That's an old song.
Sometimes all I need is the food that I eat and to lose weight. Yeah, it's
he ain't heavy. He's on Weight Watchers.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being particular about it, the "he's on Weight Watchers" part doesn't quite match phonetically. He's my brother. Right, there's like one or two too many consonants there.
Sweet,
of
God.
It's like the, it's like the ad campaign where they rewrite a song. You could tell they're trying to squeeze in a product benefit or two, but it's just really clumsy. So I like the idea. I might suggest, he's not heavy. It's weight. Thanks, Weight Watchers. He's not heavy. Thanks, Weight Watchers. See, that's what the creative director does of the pod, Tom. Even when I'm sick, I somehow improve things. I somehow make them better.
So I will give you the raw diamond, and you can kind of polish it up a little bit.
Yes.
What were you saying a second ago about the other technique is to take lyrics and kind of repurpose them?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I used to have a car. I don't think they make it anymore. It was a minivan. It was a Nissan Quest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I decided, and they don't make it anymore, so this obviously won't work unless they resurrect the brand. But I took, do you remember the song "The Impossible Dream"? Well.
Oh, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
This is my quest with rear wheel drive. Just $29,995. What do you think of that one?
I like that.
Thank you.
I think that would be an excellent ad. Somebody driving it, a middle-aged suburban schlub. Maybe the fat middle-aged man from your Weight Watchers ad could be singing that. I get it. I like it.
Thank you.
Now, see, I don't have a build on that. That's a good idea. So there. Tom, I would like to discuss a couple issues that I'm having with cyberspace.
All right.
So perhaps this happens to you. I'm sure it has. So let's say you're getting too many emails from an entity, whatever it is, like a life insurance company or a rep or a film production company or, anything. And so you unsubscribe. You hit unsubscribe. And then I noticed the other day, and this happens a lot, you get a message back saying, "Thank you. This takes 7 to 10 days to process." I'm like, wait, 7 to 10 days? So that's not right. It doesn't take 7 to 10 days to process. And then you get a survey asking why you unsubscribe. Tell us why you're going. Too many emails. Not happy with the product. What did not want them to begin with, whatever, and then if you then say why you unsubscribed you unsubscribe, then you often get an email immediately following that says you've unsubscribed. Isn't that just a little bit involved? Like I've unsubscribed and now I've gotten 3 different things I need to do to unsubscribe, and then a confirmation email that says you've unsubscribed. Yes.
And the reasons they give you for unsubscribing, they never give you the real reason, which is because I hate you. And they also throw in that little thing. They say, "Should you change your mind?" It's like, really? I wonder how many people click that one.
Who makes these decisions on these unsubscribe? Who's the guy that says, when people unsubscribe, let's immediately send them another email. and then all the executives in the room are like, great. They're all high-fiving each other. Let's go to lunch.
They probably figure, hey, you've got their attention for a second. Maybe there's a 1 in 1,000 chance they'll reconsider. We'll throw them a little kernel, like, hey, you're not going to find out about our, weekly discounts and stuff or whatever. And
I have another issue with cyberspace, Tom. It's called, so when you do something, it gives you a thing called CAPTCHA. And that bothers me right there that it's called CAPTCHA. Did you guys meant to call it capture, but this is some sort of hipster version of that? CAPTCHA. Yeah. It's not capture, it's CAPTCHA.
I wonder if it's CAPCHA, right? Or CAPT?
Yeah. I thought it was maybe, I don't know. But I always read it as it's capture, only it's sort of hey man, I'm going to capture this.
I assumed it was what's the word? Not anagram. The letters standing for something.
I don't know. It annoys me. But then you get your face. They give you a grid of 9 pictures, and they say click the ones with a crosswalk on them. And some of them you have to look really hard at the crosswalk, and some of them that crosswalk is just a tiny corner of one picture, and you might miss that crosswalk on the one picture. So if you get it wrong, got to try again. Or sometimes it's they survey these letters, like 5 letters. It looked like they were designed by an art director on drugs, like a font designed by somebody on drugs, because it's kind of wavy and semi-intelligible. And tell us what these letters are.
Sometimes they are unintelligible. I don't know about you. I've gotten them wrong sometimes because I'm guessing, is that an L or a 1 or an I? Yeah.
CAPTCHA.
I once, a few years ago, decided the day after Christmas was going to go through all of my emails and unsubscribe from every mailing list I could possibly find that I was victimized by. And it didn't, you know what? It was like spitting in the ocean. It didn't make a difference. It was promptly replaced by other services, and I didn't really notice any difference. But it was, I felt self-empowered. I felt, hey, I'm taking charge here,
You did something.
I did something. It was fruitless, but I did something. So there.
So, earlier in the episode, Tom, or maybe it was I've forgotten already, mentioned something special at the end of the episode. And since you, the listener, have stuck around till the end of the episode, we're now going to tell you what that is.
Gary and I have decided we're kind of like one of those bands that has already hit their peak, which wasn't albeit in our case was not very high. And we're kind of on the perhaps downside of our careers, so maybe it's time that we release a couple of solo albums. Now, what does that mean for So There? It means for a brief moment, Gary and I each want to try our hand with an episode where the other one does not speak at all, does not interrupt. And we want to see if we can each maintain an episode, kind of, what's her name on CNBC who talks for an hour? Rachel Maddow?
No, she's MSNBC.
I'm MSNBC. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like we drew inspiration from Kiss when they were, as Tom said, they were starting to decline in popularity a little bit, and they each of the band members released their own solo record. Peter Criss, the drummer, had his solo record. Ace Frehley, guitarist, Paul Stanley, and Gene Simmons all released their own solo record on the same day.
Yeah, other bands have as well, and we thought, you know what, this is a chance. This is also a very thinly veiled opportunity for Gary and I to compete again in another way, to see which of us can perhaps do something more compelling in our 20 minutes or 25 minutes.
Right, so, because when Kiss came out with their solo records, it became a big thing, like who sold the most, right?
Right.
So,
And since our total listenership falls within what people would call the margin of error, Gary and I are going to record our solo podcasts, and then we're going to listen to each other's, and we're going to offer each other, hopefully not hurtful, but pointed critiques on each other's podcasts. And also we might ask an objective listener or two to tell us what they thought and which perhaps they enjoyed more.
Right, we're going to hire a guest judge to tell us who was better. So it should be pretty compelling. It should be almost as compelling as back in the early days of the internet when Tom and I hosted a competition on Hot or Not. We posted our pictures on Hot or Not, one of the very first websites on the internet, and garnered votes to see who was hotter. And I think Tom won by like 83 to 77. Right? Wasn't that it?
Once again, as in the margin for error, I think it was a 1 to 10 scale, and I think one of us was 1.5 and the other was 1.3. So, but another thing to look out for when these solo episodes are released, we're going to release them both the same day. So we ask you listeners to listen to them both. Sample from the two dishes put before you. We're not going to stagger them by a month. You'll have 2 episodes. Boom, boom.
We'll try not to make them too long.
As long as they need to be.
Whoa, sounds like
I know Gary has been intrigued at the idea of a 5-minute episode. I keep trying to talk him out of it, but this might be the opportunity for Gary to do a 5-minute episode.
Sounds like a veiled threat by Tom Karamitis to try a 2-hour filibuster. So there.
Just a reminder, friends, if you want to reach us, sothere@yahoo.com. We are not, as always, we don't monitor that. We used to monitor that email address several times a day, thinking we're going to be getting loads of emails. And we probably get 1 email a month. So apologies if we don't respond as quickly as we should. We'll try to do better.
We have not thanked our staff in a while, our sound engineer and composer of our theme song, John Binder, the designer of our logo, Jim Furr. Am I leaving anybody else out, Tom?
No, so we don't have a studio engineer anymore since we do this remotely.
Right.
We don't have a sponsor at the moment.
Oh, interesting.
Segue.
Yes. If anybody would like to advertise on So There, contact us at sothere@yahoo.com. So There reaches a small but highly influential audience of thinkers, doers, marketing pros, nimrods, people with too much time on their hands. So please, if you'd like to sponsor us, let us know. The fees...
Very affordable.
Very affordable. The payoff, likely minimal, but that's it for the pitch.
Sometimes you do things just to feel good about it, This is one of those. Actually, it just goes to cover our hosting fees. That's all. So
if you'd like to advertise on So There, let us know. So There.
And until next time, for Gary Doyle, this is Tom Karamitis saying,
So there.